New laws go into effect today in Arizona. Coming up, how these new laws may affect you.
Plus, animal shelters across the state are seeing an influx of pets, and it has to do with our monsoon storms.
And later, we'll introduce you to some serious hobbyists who take racing cars on a dirt track to a whole new level.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Julia Sandor.
And I'm Cara Marroquin. Thank you for joining us. Hundreds of new laws will take effect starting today. These laws range from new driver's license rules to parental rights. Cronkite News reporter Diana Quintero is in the studio with the details on how some of these laws will affect Arizonans.
Last year's legislative session ended in June with hundreds of bills passed. There are targeted bills, like the law that allows foster or homeless youth to get IDs without parental approval. But many bills impact a wider audience. SB 1453 allows community colleges around the state to offer four-year accredited programs. There are a couple of limitations. The degrees must be in areas where there are jobs, and they can't duplicate programs offered at other state universities. If you failed to pay civil fines and had your driver's license suspended, you may be in luck. SB 1551 allows some suspensions to be dropped. However, it's not a free ride. Arizonans are still required to pay their fines. Be careful when parking on the street, as it's now a crime to partially block a sidewalk. HB 2395 was passed in order to improve accessibility for wheelchair users. But the sponsor of the bill, Representative Jennifer Longden, testified in a hearing that the law will make a difference for a lot of people.
So individuals like me who use a wheelchair, individuals who are taking a walk and their child's on one of the little pedal cycles, kids who aren't able to pass it, or in another case that I've personally experienced, a person I know who is blind and navigates with a sight cane. It's a simple issue to just please keep the sidewalk clear. It's a safety issue for pedestrians.
Violators could be hit with a $250 fine. Gun stores are now considered an essential business. This protects them from being closed down during state-declared emergencies. Additionally, SB 1382, sponsored by Senator Wendy Rogers, also protects gun manufacturers and sellers from accountability if a firearm they sold was used in a crime. Finally, SB 1377 protects Arizona businesses during a pandemic from frivolous lawsuits. This applies to anyone who claims injury or death because a business failed to protect them. In addition to these new laws, we continue to wait on several other bills tied up in the courts or placed on hold because of referendums. At the Google touchscreen, Diana Quintero, Cronkite News.
A federal judge is temporarily blocking part of the Arizona abortion law before it takes effect. Originally, under the new law, doctors could have faced felony charges for knowingly terminating pregnancies with genetic abnormalities. The judge says these abortions can still be performed, but the doctor has the right to refuse to do it if this is the woman's sole motive. U.S. District Judge Douglas Reyes has also removed the provisions that would bring charges to anyone who raises money or pays for abortions for this purpose. These new provisions won't block women from getting abortions, but instead protect the doctors who perform them from charges.
The Arizona death toll from COVID-19 could top 20,000 this week, just part of the more than 780,000 Americans who have died from this disease. Now, those numbers can be numbing, but one exhibit makes them very real, as Kimberly Silverio Bautista reports from our Washington bureau.
The thousands of white flags blanketing the grounds near the Washington Monument are beautiful when stirred by a slight breeze. But to Suzanne Furstenberg, they are horrible at the same time. Horrible because every flag represents someone who died of COVID.
It's horrifying. It's hard enough to look over this vast field of flags, and even what you see is not the total amount of flags in the installation.
That total, more than 680,000 as of this morning, stretches more than 2 city blocks, with more being added every day. Furstenberg said she wanted to give people a sense of how truly large that number is.
And so as a visual artist, I wanted to make the number understandable. And the only way to do that was to create an installation using a unit, using something for each person who had died. And the white flag was the perfect item to use.
The installation, called In America Remember, had the intended effect on Dwayne Burns, who wandered the field this week with his wife.
Well, the thing that strikes me most is that it's just unbelievable how many people have died from this disease. You always hear figures about how many people died in the Civil War, and this dwarfs that now.
Some of the flags bear names of people who have died and a message from loved ones left behind. People like Chicago resident Lulu Hawson, who came to honor an uncle who died in January. Hawson said she came to D.C. specifically to write a message to him.
Just that we all love you, we all remember you, you're never forgotten.
Furstenberg will keep adding flags every day until Sunday at sunset. The exhibit ends and the flags will start coming down, but she knows the deaths will continue to rise.
What makes me sad is that after this art exhibition ends, the deaths aren't going to end. They'll keep going up, and we won't have a way to really honor those families.
In Washington, Kimberly Silverio Bautista, Cronkite News.
Volunteers working with the artists are filling out flags with dedications from people who can't make it to Washington, and they will be accepting dedication requests until tomorrow for placement on the exhibit. If you would like to dedicate a flag, you can find the form on the website inamericaflags.org.
Vitalent, a nonprofit organization that donates blood to hospitals in Arizona, announced there is a blood shortage in the valley. The pandemic brought challenges for people to donate blood due to the cancellations of blood drives. However, blood is still needed throughout the valley. Type O negative is needed the most. It is used for most traumas because of its ability to be transfused with any other blood. Anyone vaccinated or unvaccinated can donate. To find a blood drive close to you, visit redcrossblood.org.
Coming up, how one local farmer is using agritainment to make ends meet. We'll explain how farms across Arizona are finding creative ways to stay afloat outside of producing fruits and vegetables.
And the U.S. Labor Department issued 13 mine safety grants today. After the break, which Arizona university won federal funding to develop app-based training materials?
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's the time of the year when families head to pumpkin patches or out to apple orchards to pick fruit. For most of us, a trip to the farm is novel, a fun way to spend an afternoon. But as Cronkite News reporter Sydney Whitty tells us, these farm outings help support the business of agriculture.
Farms across the country and in the valley are focusing on farm-based entertainment in order to stay in business. Mother Nature's Farm in Gilbert is one of many who have evolved in order to survive. Farm machinery, farm animals. This is all a part of agritainment, a form of entertainment and educational-based farming that help keep family farms afloat. Wade Kelsall, the owner of Mother Nature's Farm, says they get nearly all of their annual income through their seasonal entertainment.
90+% of our income is in October, and then we have December, and the rest of the year we're pretty much growing for those seasons and growing to feed our animals.
Mother Nature's Farm started as a pig farm that progressively grew throughout the late 90s. When Wade took over the family farm in 1988, he began to sell pumpkins and eventually evolved into agritainment farming after customers asked to see behind the scenes.
When I was selling the pumpkins, somebody said, "Hey, what's in the back?" And I'm like, "It's a farm." And they're like, "Can we go see?" And I was like, "I think so." And they're like, "I'll pay you $2." I said, "Yes, you can go out there for $2.
Many families come to Mother Nature's Farm so their kids can connect with the farm and lifestyle that's different from suburbia.
I love to come and buy the firewood. My kids like to pet the animals and feed the animals. But then I also come for the pumpkin patch and the Christmas tree lot.
The agritainment style of farming provides a space for kids to learn about farming and where food comes from.
Kids learn better by doing. So kids come out here, learn where eggs come from, don't even realize it. Learn where the milk comes from without realizing it. Learn that things don't come from the grocery store.
Over 50,000 farms across the nation, like Mother Nature's Farm, have developed this agritainment farming style to try and diversify and increase profits in a unique way. Because who doesn't love being a farmer for a day? Mother Nature's Farm grows their own pumpkins, pine trees, and peaches. They also host birthday parties and events. The farm plans to expand in the future and make their fall festivals even bigger. In the studio, Sydney Whitty, Cronkite News.
The University of Arizona is receiving federal funding to develop app-based training materials for miners. The grant money is part of the U.S. Labor Department's Brookwood-Sago program to promote mine safety. 13 grants totaling $1 million were awarded to recipients across the country. The program was established in 2006 to honor 25 miners who died in Brookwood, Alabama, and Buckhannon, West Virginia.
The valley's been cooling down as fall continues to roll in. Now we go to Milan Andrade with more on the upcoming forecast.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope it's been a great one as we go over that work week hump into the last couple of days for the weekend. Notice some cloud coverage for a majority, almost the entire state today, but that's going to change as we move into Friday. Those clouds are going to go east. These winds are going to pick up going south towards Ajo and Yuma. This is going to affect the high temperatures of tomorrow in the best way possible. State high at 93 in Yuma, going as low as 59 in Flagstaff. Going to get pretty chilly up north, and 87 in Phoenix, 81 in Tucson. Overall, great weather across Arizona. Going into the evening planner tonight, again, great weather, low 80s, high 70s, clouds throughout the rest of the evening. 6 to 10 p.m., looking to go outside to get some fresh air. No specific time I can give you guys. Any time is a great one to go outside this evening. For the 8-day forecast, Thursday sitting at 87 high, and we'll notice some clouds on Saturday. We're going to notice some clouds for the rest of the weekend going into the early next week. Flying a little too close to the sun on Monday at 95, but whooping it right back into that fall weather, sitting at the high 80s for next Tuesday and Wednesday. That's it for the weather wrap-up. In the Weather Center, Cronkite News, I'm Milan Andrade.
I'm Morgan Carden. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. We'll take a look at one of the many dirt racing tracks in the state and how some of their best racers are just like you and me.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
I was so excited when I learned that I was going to be the next moderator of Washington Week. I was incredibly lucky to be mentored by Gwen Eiffel, and what that gave to me was this confidence that I could be my full self and that I was deserving of whatever spaces I was in.
Welcome to Washington Week.
I also feel this great joy in taking the helm of Washington Week, knowing that I can mold it and make it my own, but also make sure that it is still within the legacy and the tradition that made it so great for all of these years.
Your favorite member benefit is getting better and bigger.
This is wonderful.
Over the next year, Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream.
They give us all that they've got.
From your favorite cooking and travel series.
Even the stairs are breathtaking.
To history specials and award-winning documentaries. Better and bigger.
That really is the fun part.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Welcome back. I'm Morgan Cardin with your Cronkite Sports Report. For the third week in a row, an Arizona Cardinal is taking home a weekly award. After a 2-interception game, cornerback Byron Murphy was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Murphy returned one of those interceptions for a pick six. He also added a pair of pass deflections and 4 tackles. Murphy joins Chandler Jones and Kyler Murray as NFC Weekly Award winners just 3 weeks into the year. Wide receiver Christian Kirk was teammates with Murphy back when the pair went to Saguaro High School here in the Valley. Kirk still remembers the first time the two met.
You know, I'm so happy and so proud of, Byron and seeing how far he's come. I remember the first day that he showed up at Saguaro, and, he's about 150 pounds soaking wet, and Coach Jason Mons brought him, to the weight room, brought him over to my rack that I was working out, and he said, "This is your guy, this is your project for the next year. Wherever you go, whatever you do, he does."
ASU continues Pac-12 play this Saturday when they take on UCLA. The 20th ranked Bruins are coming off their victory last week against Stanford. The Sun Devils find themselves on the outside looking in when it comes to rankings, but they are also coming off of a dominant win against Colorado. But Jaden Daniels knows UCLA poses a challenge and will give him a lot of different looks.
So it's really just staying true to the game plan, just going out there and just trusting what the coaches have. Because at the end of the day, for me, just going through my read progression, knowing where to start, because it's going to be hard to tell what covers are in pre-snap, but it's all about the post-snap. Try to win the pre-snap, but winning the post-snap and know where you're going with the football is where it's going to be where we live and die with it.
Dirt track racing is one of the most popular forms of racing in the United States, with over 700 tracks in operation today. The sport attracts people from all walks of life. Cronkite News reporter Jack Johnson shows us how these extraordinary drivers are ordinary members of the workforce.
In a floodplain in the northwest corner of Maricopa County sits the Canyon Speedway, a 3/8 of a mile dirt oval which has hosted racing since 1981. Despite its somewhat remote location, families are a common sight at weekend events. For many drivers, including track IMCA modified points champion Guy Norton, racing is what they've known their whole life.
It's just in our blood, our kids do it, so I'm just kind of one of the old guys at this point, but still in my blood, and that's why we do it.
Maybe to some, it could be viewed as a hobby. But for the teams and drivers hauling their racing operations out to the speedway, driving is a hobby, racing is a competitive sport. And with that comes competitive expenses.
Their budgets are large. They'll spend anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000 a year to go race.
The sponsorship money from various businesses help a little, but as stock car driver Jared Wilson knows, a lot of the budget will have to come out of pocket.
Yeah, but there's other guys that really struggle just to, be able to work, 24/7 jobs, and like I said, our business is 24/7.
For the vast majority of drivers that come out here to Canyon Speedway to compete, day jobs during the week is what fuels their passion for racing and funds their ability to come out each and every weekend. And that means on Saturday night, drivers could be holding something like this, to holding something like this on Tuesday morning. Away from the track, Wilson trades in his fire suit for his company t-shirt. Unlike some other drivers at Canyon Speedway, the Wilsons did not have a family tree of wheelmen. But to Jared's surprise, he won his father's support.
I didn't think he'd ever kind of be on board, but man, I'll tell you what, when he sees his boy going around that track, it's kind of cool, and I know it's cool to have him there.
Most choose to spend their weekends winding down. For racers, the weekly grind allows them to rev up on the local tracks. Reporting from Peoria, Jack Johnson, Cronkite News.
The next event at Canyon Speedway is Championship Weekend, October 15th and 16th. 7 classes of race cars will compete that weekend for their respective titles. On to the Mercury, who are chasing a title of their own. Sandy Brondello's squad got off to a rough start, however. The team fell to Las Vegas last night 96-90 in Game 1 of the WNBA semifinals. Despite the loss, both Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi had great games. Griner put up 24 points to go along with 7 boards, while Taurasi added 20 points and 6 assists on the night. Game 2 of the best-of-5 series will tip off tomorrow in Vegas with the Mercury, hoping to even up the series. Coach Brondello says that even though the team scored 90 points, the efficiency has got to be better next game.
Even though we shot 48%, I thought just a 3 here and there goes in because we took 31 attempts. It changes the game. But we still competed, but we can learn a lot from the game and get ready for the Thursday's game.
That's all for your Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Karen and Julia.
Monsoon season may have come to an end, but the storms have left many animals displaced. The advice the Arizona Humane Society is giving families with pets, up next.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
I was so excited when I learned that I was going to be the next moderator of Washington Week. I was incredibly lucky to be mentored by Gwen Eiffel, and what that gave to me was this confidence that I could be my full self and that I was deserving of whatever spaces I was in.
Welcome to Washington Week.
I also feel this great joy in taking the helm of Washington Week, knowing that I can mold it and make it my own, but also make sure that it is still within the legacy and the tradition that made it so great for all of these years.
Your favorite member benefit is getting better and bigger.
This is wonderful.
Over the next year, Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream.
They give us all that they've got.
From your favorite cooking and travel series.
Even the stairs are breathtaking.
To history specials and award-winning documentaries. Better and bigger.
That really is the fun part.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Arizona summers bring not only the heat, but also wildfires, kitten season, and monsoon season. Even though it's getting cooler out, some shelters are still seeing an overflow of animals. Cronkite News reporter Nicole Long visited local shelters to see how monsoons have impacted their capacities.
We definitely have had a lot of capacity issues, and it's just a whole conglomerate of all of these different things just coming together.
These storms bring the possibility of pets escaping homes in panic. Here in Maricopa County, officers like Stephanie Gallego spend their day responding to calls all across the valley.
During monsoons, people fail to rectify their fencing, so there's fences that are already lacking security.
Monsoon season lasts from June through September, and during these months in 2020 alone, about 6,500 dogs were brought into the shelter, according to Maricopa County Care and Control.
The summertime is probably busier for us. I know it sounds contradicting. There's more people out and about, so there's more opportunities for an encounter with a dog and a human.
Building a positive relationship between your animal's behavior and loud storms, along with maintaining a secure home, are just a couple ways to keep your pet safe during monsoon season. In Phoenix, Nicole Long, Cronkite News.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.